Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Business Growth Secrets. You're with your host Adam Stott. Got a mega episode for you today. We're going to be talking about how do you sell with social media and how do you sell through social media. So how do you get your message out and convert customers? So hopefully you're all in, ready to listen. Let's jump into it after the quick intro and we'll show you how to start selling through social media. Welcome back to another episode of Business Growth Secrets. You're with your host, Adam Stott. Excited to be with you today and can't wait to talk about this great topic. How do we sell through social media? And I'll put the emphasis on the title of the episode today, Selling Through Social Media. And what I mean is the selling and the through part are the important bit. Because a lot of people want to use social media to go out and get more awareness. They want more people to become aware of who they are and aware they exist. But the reality is this, your followers, your views and your likes ain't paying the bills and they ain't filling your bank account. So if you want to make more money, we've got to have a different approach. It's not about how many views do you get. It's not about how many likes you get. It's not about how many people comment back to you. And the reason I want to say this is important. There's so much stuff out in the marketplace about how you use social media to grow your business. And most of the stuff is not aimed at small business owner. It's not aimed at people that are one-man armies, one-woman armies. It's not aimed at that market. It's aimed at bigger businesses with marketing teams or bigger corporate companies that got lots of people. And they talk a lot about customer service, a lot about making sure you're consistent and putting your message out there. And that's all fine if you've got the time to do it. But the reality is, if you're listening to this podcast, you've probably got a business that's going and growing, but you might not have hit through that £1 million mark. You might not, probably not hit through that £10 million mark and you're searching. And if that sounds a bit like you're searching for the answers, I'm going to take you a bit more direct to the route to market. Now, what does direct route to market means? It means you don't want to focus all your time just on about posting on social media and putting stuff out that looks pretty. Instead, you want to focus on who your client is, how can you have a conversation with them faster, how can you increase the amount of conversations you're having, and how can you make a killer offer to those clients and get them off social media. So I'm going to break that down for you a little bit more. But this is the fastest way you can get clients, you can make more money using social media. First thing you've got to know is who that client is. I look at me as my business, my training, my education business. What does it do? It serves business owners. It helps business owners grow. We are business growth experts. And if you want to grow your business, we show you how to do it. The people I want to speak to are people that want to grow their businesses. And I'm very clear about that. So every piece of content I make, every video I make, everything I do will be about how to grow your business, how to become more efficient in business, how to make more money in business, everything I do. And that will make my message very, very attractive to somebody that wants to grow their business, which is my target market, by the way. But it will make it not very attractive to people that got no interest in growing businesses. In fact, it will make it almost repulsive to people that are not interested in growing a business. If somebody's following me and they don't want to grow a business, there ain't really much point following me. Right? Because that's what I'm going to talk about, and that's what I'm going to talk about with the repetition. So the first thing is you've got to know who you are, you've got to know who you serve, and you've got to know how you serve them. Really important stuff, really simple stuff. But if you haven't got those principles down, right, they're very important principles. So my first tips to start getting your social media working, delivering clients and making income is 1, you write down and you get clear on who you serve. For me, I serve business owners that want to grow. Then you got to get really dead set and really certain on how do you serve them? What is it you do for them, right? So you know what your product or service is and you want to be talking about that product or service and how you can actually help them and how you can solve their problem, right? So how do you help them is the next one. And the third one is how can they get in touch with you and start that conversation? This is another thing that people do. They don't have enough call to actions to actually get people to come and have a conversation with them. Now, my biggest problem with people on social media and what they do is they want to post content, they want to post information out there, they want to post lots and lots of nice, pretty stuff, and they want to show off and all that kind of stuff. But that stuff that gets you more views and more likes a lot of the time, that ain't paying the bills. The thing that's going to pay the bills is you get more clients, is getting more sales. And the way you get more clients and the way you get sales is not entertaining people on social media. If all you ever do is entertain people on social media, the problem that you're going to have is they follow you for ages until they lose interest, then you lose the business. What you need to do, and this is the most important part, and this is why I've recorded this episode pretty much, right? Is because I want you to get this. You want to work through social media. Your job as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that wants growth, is to go and find your clients on social media, and take them off social media to have a conversation elsewhere. That should be your number one goal. You find them on social, you take them off social. And in order to do that, you've got to have a place that they can have a conversation with you away from social media. Why is this so important, and why is this like my main point? Well, this is people on social media. Imagine this is a mobile phone in my hand right now. What do people do when they're looking through social media? Scroll, 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 scroll. Stop, scroll, 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 stop, scroll, scroll, scroll. They pay no attention what's going on. Even when something really interests them and catch their attention, how long do they stop for? 10, 15, 20 seconds? Are they going to be able to buy your product or service in 10, 15, 20 seconds? No, they're not, right? So we need to get them very early in a short space of time, and we need to take them away from social media. So how do you do that? Well, one of the ways that we do that is we do that by hosting events. So what we'll do is we'll go out, we'll market on social media, tell people about the events. They then go, oh, there's an event on, I'd like to go to that. Now they come to the event, they're off social media. Well, what does that mean? Instead of having 12 to 15 seconds to build a relationship with them, I've got 8 hours. Because make no mistake, building businesses is about building relationships and having longer conversations with your prospects. If you have 10, 15-second conversations with your prospects, you ain't going to have no clients. So you've got to have longer conversations. So how do you meet them on social, take them off social? Maybe you don't want to run events. I understand that. But could you do a strategy session? Is there a free problem that you could help people with? Is there a way that you could meet them on social, intrigue them enough to pull them off and have a longer conversation with you? Because that's what you want to be doing, my friend. If you want more clients, it's not about entertaining them on social, posting content non-stop, because all that's going to do, that's going to entertain them. But there's billions of things out there that can entertain them on social. We don't want to entertain them. We want to have longer conversations with them. So you've got to sell through social. And that's exactly what the title of today's episode was, Sell Through Social. The way you sell through social is you go straight through it. You find the client, you pull them off social to have that longer conversation. Once you have that longer conversation, you can get to know what their problems are, you can get to know what their fears are, you can get to know what their needs are, you can get to know why they need your product, why they need your service, why they need your help, and then you can start to make them an offer that's going to help them solve their problem. But you can't do that in a 10, 15-second post or video. So if you're trying to do everything facelessly, or if you're trying to do everything online all the time without ever having a longer conversation, you're gonna struggle, right? So it's really important that we make that transition. Now, for somebody listening to this podcast that's e-commerce, your job, you might not talk to your clients, and I understand that, right? And if you're e-commerce and you sell small products online, you just want to sell more of those products, right? And that's your main goal, that's your main ambition. Well, what do? Well, the difference is you're going to need to use funnels to have that conversation for you, right? Because you're going to need to have a longer conversation in order to get them to make a buying decision. And that's why you want to embrace funnels, and you want to use lots of copywriting, lots of video, lots of storytelling, but you don't want to do it on social media. You want to drive them off social media into your funnel. Okay, so just to make that clear. But the important thing here is social media is a collection of people. A collection of billions of people. And in that collection of billions of people, there's lots of your prospects, there's lots of your clients in there, there's lots of people in there that need your help. So our job is to identify who those people are, get out to message with them, have a conversation with them that helps them. So I'm going to give you another tip here. Don't put anything on social media unless it is, one, educational, or motivational, or inspirational, or it adds value to them in some way. You've got to make sure what you put out gives someone something. You've got to remember, before you put anything into the market, you've got to say, when the end user sees this, what's in it for them? Like what I'm making right now, what do I think about? I don't think about me, I think about you. I'm sitting there going, well, how can this message serve this person that's listening? How can it serve them? How can it help them? Well, the way I see it is, if you follow the methodology, you can stop wasting time trying to entertain people, start pulling people off and get yourself more clients, which is ideally what you want to do to create more income, right? So you always got to ask yourself, what's in it for me, but not you? What's in it for your client, right? And make sure anything you put out adds value to them, and then you won't have a problem in terms of getting clients. And you need to make sure that you have a solid way that you can continue that conversation outside of a social media environment. Lots of my clients who have been super successful, I've given them this knowledge, I've took them by the hand and walked them through the process. And when they've worked with me in my coaching programs like Business Circle, Gold Circle, Inner Circle, one of the things that I will do is I will develop with them what is their off social media conversation. How's that going to take place? Right? That might be that it's going to be that consult call. But if you've been listening to the podcast, we don't call it a consult call. We might call it a strategy call. We might call it a detailed audit of their business or detailed audit of their marketing, whatever it might be. We're going to give them some value, and we're going to give them a reason to come and join us off of social media to have that conversation. For many other of my clients, I've got them to set up community meetings or meetings on Zoom where lots of people that have got the same things in common can come together. So now they're on a 2-hour Zoom call, and the 2-hour Zoom call, we can add more value to them. We can have a deeper conversation. We got a better concentration from them, but we've met them on social. We've used social to meet them. Then we brought them over to the call where we spent more time with them. You could use a podcast, for example, right? You market on social, you get people on social to follow it, to understand it. You move them off social, they get listening to your podcast. I mean, if you're listening to this right now, you're probably in the car, in the gym, sitting on your laptop, or you're probably sitting there with concentration listening to the episode, and that's what you want. You don't want to be in that 10, 15 second scroll war, right? You don't win the scroll war unless you start doing crazy things, right? And you ain't got time to be setting cars on fire and jumping off roofs just to get attention, right? So what you need to do is make sure you don't battle the scroll war. You win it by getting their attention quickly, taking them off social media for the longer conversation. And that is the way, my friends, that you sell through social media. And then on the longer conversation, you've got more time to make more impact, to get the client, to get the business. So everything you do and your strategy on social media should be, how do I add value? How do I motivate? How do I inspire? How do I reach the people I'm trying to reach? How do I reach that target market? And how do I help them to see that if we had a longer conversation, we could benefit you in a much bigger way? And if you switch your mindset to selling through social media rather than selling on social media, you will find you go and meet lots and lots of people on social, you take them off social, and you start closing more business. So hopefully that's been a really valuable episode for you. And it's a very, very small, intricate insight. And I want you to hear it. Don't sell on social, sell through social. It's a different mentality. It will yield you different results, and it will power up your business beyond measure. So start taking that action, make that mindset switch, and I look forward to seeing your new results.